Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Vivian Degwa. Now we are done with the political segment. We now get into a conversation that is really important, and that is the dual training policy. We know that the cabinet got to approve the implementation of the dual training policy, and we have with us the PS, State Department for TVET, and she's here to just let us understand more about what this policy is all about. Yes, we have Dr. Esther Thara Moria, and she is the Principal Secretary, State Department for TVET, as I had mentioned earlier. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for having me this morning. Audience, like you've already been told, my name is Esther Thara Moria, PS State Department for TVET. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show today just to talk about this. I feel like it's a really amazing way of learning. So let us begin with you just explaining to those who may not understand what the dual training policy is all about. What is it?
Dual training in Kenya, my audience, ladies and gentlemen, across the country, is training our young people, both in our institutions that are in existence across the country and also in industry. Vivian, we want to train from industry, with industry, for industry. This is what this means. The young people we are training them to work in the industries. We have moved as government from the business of training young people in our institutions, training institutions, and then they have to be recrafted in industry to be able to do what it is that they need to do within the working space. So we are adopting a training, or we have adopted a training system where we want to train the young people to be industry ready by the time they graduate. So that's why I am saying we are training from industry. That is, we consult and work with industry as we craft the occupational standards. That is, what is it that the industry needs that should be impacted on the young people. After we get the OSs from the sector skills advisory committees, we have about 54 of them across the country. And what the sector skills advisory committees are doing is letting us know as academicians, what is it that we want you to train the young people to have with them. After we get the OSs from the sector skills advisory committees, we come up with the curricula. We have now in place CDAC, which is the Curriculum Development, Assessment and Certification Council. That is what is our NEC. Well, across the country we know NEC.
NEC, yeah.
So His Excellency the President directed that technical trainees must not be assessed theoretically anymore by NEC. So he ordered the re-establishment. It used to be there for some time ago, but things did not stabilize very well. The re-establishment of CDAC, which is in place now, and it is the work of CDAC to ensure that the requisite curricula is available from the Sector Skills Advisory Committee and the OSs that I already spoke about. Once the curricula is in place, it is the responsibility of my institutions across the country to be able now to train the young people in accordance with the advices from the industry. And now, Vivian, we are not just going to train that curricula after we establish the curricula just by ourselves in our institutions. We are going again to work with the industries so that 50% of the time, the young people are in our TVET institutions. 50 to 70%, because it is very important. Why am I adding the other 20%? Because it is very important that the young people are able to actually continuously do practice what it is that the industries need. And that is why 50 to 70% of the time, they will still be working with the industries, back in the industries.
Okay.
We will give them a bit of the academics in the institutions, 50%. But again, we could still do the 50 and still have a bit of more time. We want them to be in industry a lot more so that they are able to do with the industry what it is that they will be required to do in those industries after we have been able to train them.
All right, I hear you on that. Now, what does the implementation of this policy now mean for the TVET sector generally?
Generally, what this means is that we will have to work very closely with the industries, and we are very grateful to German GIZ and Canadian CICAN, who have really held us in this implementation. You know, the two spaces, that is, we talk about the Canadians or the Germans, they are high duo trainers. So we have to a very large extent learned from them, because Vivian, you learn from the best, and you learn from those who are already there. So we are working with them very closely so that they are able to continuously advise us what it is that we need to have in place so that we are able to craft our young people as we should. So what this means for us in the TVET sector is that we ensure that we have the, like I've already said, the requisite curricula, but we are learning from these older brothers in the sector already, so that they are able to guide us on what we need to put in place to be able to have the young people in the industries as it should. And we have done a good job, Lillian, Vivian, in this space. For example, I'll give you an example of Kiambu National Polytechnic, just across here, where we already have and have had 4 cohorts. I think we are on the 4th cohort of the students that we are training on dual training. And those that have been able to train in industry, 50 to 70%, like I've already said, actually finish and just join those industries. And again, of very great importance, Vivian, you realize that these young people, once they finish, they don't need to look for a job even for a day. In fact, they just naturally join those industries, because this is what the industries are actually looking for. They are looking for well-crafted young people. And since they have been working with them all this time, they simply transition to the industries and continue working.
Okay, okay. So now, you know, we know that KCSE, 2024 KCSE results were out for the candidates who sat for the examinations last year. And among the students, around 716,121 of them did not attain, you know, the entry points for universities. So how prepared are TVETs? You know, how prepared is the department generally to absorb these students?
Thank you for that, Vivian. We want to announce to the young people across the country, first and foremost, that whether you attained a university entry grade or not, whether you got an A or an E, you are a requisite Kenyan who is very useful. And everybody is very important, and you can only be a failure when you decide to be a failure yourself. A one or 2 weeks examination does not determine you. It is you who has to make a decision on what you want to do, and we in the TVET sector are ready and prepared to craft you to the useful Kenyan that you must do. So we are ready. Vivian, we have TVET institutions across this country. Yesterday, currently, His Excellency the President is in Mandera. And I saw him in one of my TVET institutions yesterday, in Mandera. So there are TVETs in Mandera. There are TVETs in Mombasa. There are TVETs in Kisumu. Mention any corner of this country. So we are simply requesting our young people who did the examinations, the 716 and more, to go to KUPS. They don't actually need to go. To log into KUPS website, make an application, and the KUPS website is open for TVETs and KMTC currently. So for us, just get into the KUPS website, make an application, and you are placed in a TVET institution across the country. And every single county in this country has a TVET institution. And Vivian, we have gone ahead to make these TVET institutions very attractive for the young people, because we know young people want to stay in nice places. And you go to our TVET institutions, they are very nice. And therefore, get into the KUPS website, apply to join our TVET institutions. And I was speaking to Dr. Masi Wahome the other day, and he was telling me the portal is very active, and they are really applying. Again, together with Masi, we have established a TVET desk at KUPS. So again, if and when you need any help to be able to get on board, we have a desk at KUPS where you can be helped. And thirdly, you can walk to any of our TVET institutions across the country. You apply at the institution, you are admitted, and it is our responsibility, again, through that desk that we have established, to get you logged on to the KUPS portal. So there is no reason or excuse why you should stay out, whether or not you have whichever grade that you have. So
everyone is eligible. It does not matter your grade.
Eligible, and I can tell you, Vivian, like last year we had approximately 10,000 university ready or qualified students who opted for TVET. And even now, because I want also to tell the young people, it is very important that everybody has a skill which they can leverage on as individuals to be able to make a living. We are training well at the university space, but to a very large extent at the university space. I also belong to the university. I belong to JKUAT. But at the university space, we don't train the ready skills, the active skills, the do skills. So we are inviting even those, as they proceed to the university, we also welcome them to come so that we skill them. Because if you go to the first world, Vivian, because labor is very expensive, plumbers know how to do plumbing, and they do it for themselves. So even here in Kenya, we want to encourage everybody to come to our institutions. Let us give you the requisite skills so that we are all do ready.
What industries are you looking at, and maybe what skills are you looking at, majoring into mainly?
All manner of skills. We have automotive skills in our industries. We have agriculture skills, and by the way, we are training very requisite agriculturists who we have been able to take to the UK for upskilling, and when they come back here, they are very marketable because we had already skilled them. They go out there in the UK and they are upskilled. So agricultural skills, we are talking about if it is in places like in Mombasa, we have a lot of hotels, and we train them. We train a lot of their people. So we are looking at all manner of skills: electrical skills, masonry, building and civil engineering, all the skills in that continuum. We are looking at apparels, and we also look all manner of skills. Mention it. Even you, Vivian, in this telecommunication, we have them. We have the ICT skills. So, because we work with industries, and industries are able to tell us, this is what we want you to train for us. So we have all kind of skills in our space. And remember, we have 240 institutions in this country.
240 TVET institutions.
240 TVET institutions, and we are moving on. We still have around 50 that we have still not constructed. So we are saying in all these industries, we have in all these TVET institutions, we have all manner of skills that we could talk about. Food processing, we have all manner of skills.
And maybe just how long is the duration of these programs? 3
months to 2 years.
Okay.
We have what we call level 3 to level 6. Level 3 is craft. And by the way, whether we are talking about 3 months, Vivian, to
the 2 years,
to the 2 years, what we are also saying is, if you are training in a diploma, say in building and civil, we have agreed with my principals that we are breaking that diploma into skill sets. What do we mean? In building and civil, you have a skill like masonry, where we will train you to do bricklaying to absoluteness. We have painting, where we will train you to be a painter to absoluteness. My colleague was telling me it is called part and the whole. So you can train in 1, 2, 3 skills, and if you want to go away and start your business or get employed, it is still okay. Because in this space, Vivian, we are talking about the doing. At Kebera TVC, young girls are coming. We are training them in hairdressing and beauty. And within 3 months, they go away and they don't come back to school. Why? Because they have gone to work. There is an institution I was in where we are training tailoring and dressmaking. And the young girls come, and young boys for that matter. We even have barbers. In Kibera, we are also training barbers. And they come and they train, they go away and they start earning their living. We come, we train young boys and girls, and they learn how to make dresses. Once you have learned to make a very nice dress, you start your business at the shopping center, and people come to you, make dresses, you earn a living. In other words, as government, we are talking about pesa mfukoni, and in this TVET space, we are training young people to be able to have a skill that will ensure that they can do something for themselves, and they are able to earn a living. And that is what we are looking into as a space. But again, in this TVET space, you are at liberty to learn all the way to diploma level, which is level 6, and we have now a policy called K-CATS. Kenya's credit accumulation and I'm forgetting. But that policy allows you to carry your credits to the next level, to the degree level. All right? Remember, level 6 is diploma. You can now transit to the degree level with your diploma. So you can go all the way to first degree, second degree, and to PhD, if you so wish. So we are not saying that when you are a craftsperson, a doing person, it is not possible for you to go all the way to academics. If you so wish, you can become a technical person at degree level, if you so wish. And we know this exists in another word. In fact, Vivian, we look at a time in the near future where we are going to have a polytechnic university in Kenya, where you can transit all the way to whichever level of academics, if you so wish.
So that's what you're looking at in the future.
In the future, yes, we are looking at having a polytechnic university.
Okay. Now, this program clearly is angled to address the issue of skills mismatch.
Yes.
You know, from what you were just explaining, that's what it's angled to do.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what are some of the benefits
of the skills, of having the matching of skills? We will have the industries, like I said at the beginning, not having to retrain the young people once they go into industries. So we will craft them right from the word go. Number 2, self-employment. We want our young people as much as possible to be able to do things for themselves and to be able to, like I said, earn a living. And thirdly, we have this program of Kazi Maju. We have had quite a lot of interest, by the way, in the labor from Kenya, labor mobility from Kenya. So when the recruiters come, we have realized, for me, I have actually been using this labor recruitment as a research base, so that I am able to see what is it that we need to upgrade. And I've realized in the process of the labor recruitment, we have what I am calling the finesse missing. We need to be able to train our young people to do things in a very refined way. If they are doing painting, let it, when you look at that wall, let it not have some ups and downs along the wall. So we want to use this space to be able to make our young people be able to do very good work when it comes to work. We want to avoid plumbers doing plumbing on your building, and then in a year's time, there is water all over the wall. We want to achieve that finesse. And secondly, we also want to achieve the confidence of our people, of our young people. You realize one of the lessons I've also learned during the labor recruitment, quite a number of them do not have that confidence to be, because the interviews mostly, Vivian, are not theory, they are practical. You are given a wall to build. And some of them are not very confident. So I am encouraging my principals and trainers to be able to train these young people so well that when they start to be told to put some tumors up for scaffolding, they are able to do it very, very well and with a lot of confidence. So we want to ensure the industry has what it wants to have. Number two, that our young people are able to do what they should do with absolute confidence. And thirdly, I was forgetting, there is what we call being able to get the actual measurements. For example, you are asked, what is the ratio of the cement to sand, I don't know, to water, when you are doing the mixology? Some of them are not able to do those numbers very, very well. So again, we in this dual training, because they will be going where the work is going to be done, they will be able to experience and be able to get their measurements right. And within another short while of doing, continuing to do this dual training. And I've already told you, Vivian, those we have already been taking to industry and they have been doing the training, they don't have a problem. But I have noticed quite a number of the rest really need to be brought to this level. So this is the absoluteness of dual training, and I'm very happy that the cabinet was able to pass this as a policy. We are now busy operationalizing it as a sector, so that we are able to put all the valuables where they need to be put, so that we make sure everybody is going through the training as should be.
And maybe how are you working in collaboration, or how have you been working in collaboration and in partnership with industries and employers as well in this whole policy, in this whole program, let me call it program,
Thank you, Vivian. Like I've already said, we have the German GIZ and CICAN leading us in this. So what we have done is that, and we also have the industry liaison officers in each and every one of my institutions. So with the guidance of these two bodies that I have talked about, the industry liaison officers in my institutions get in and the principals here in the various institutions have done very well to ensure that the industry liaison officers are able to move to the various industries across the country and are able to have an MOU with many of these industries. For example, the automotive industries in this town, Nairobi National Technical Institution are able to move to those industries, establish MOUs with them, agree that we are going to train together. So it is the work of the industry liaison officers and the principals to get in touch with the various industries, establish MOUs with them, the training MOUs, so that they agree from this time to this time, this cohort of trainers will be in the industries and doing what it is that they need to be in the industries. Then they are back at this time and this time in the industries. And remember, Vivian, now that the cabinet has agreed to pass for us the dual training policy. We are able now, and this is what my staff now is able to do, and I have a directorate that is now operationalizing the dual training policy. We are able to speak to the Industrial Training Act of 2024, I think, which authorizes the National Industrial Training Authority to access some funds from Treasury, okay, the training authority. And from this training authority, there is the rebate fund from that authority that they are supposed to refund or give rebates to the industries that are training with us. So that is again the work of that training authority, to be able to see to it. These industries that we get through our industrial liaison officers and our principals of national polytechnics, how are we able to incentivize them so that they see the need to train with us? First of all, remember the first incentive is that these young people will be ready to join the industry anyway. And then secondly, the National Industrial Training Authority should be in a position to forward to them some form of rebates, that is a discussion between them, to be able to agree to train with us.
Yeah. Would you say that this, this training system, would you confidently say that it is here to address the issue of unemployment? Because as it is right now, unemployment is one of the biggest issues we have in the country. Would you say that this training system will help in curbing that?
Yes, in two ways. One, once you are trained, like I've already said, Vivian, when you are trained to absoluteness, you have the confidence that you are ready to do what it is that you are able to do. You are even able to, you yourself, get somewhere, maybe get a loan and start your own business and even employ others. And we have seen it happen. We have seen some people start. There is one who was, when we were celebrating Tibet at 100, there is one who came to Kabete to demonstrate. He did plumbing. He has, I think he was telling us he has got about 6 shops, plumbing shops, with all this plumbing, whatever, because he's got the confidence that he can tweak whatever it is needed to be tweaked in plumbing. So that will address unemployment in the sense that once our young people are able to be trained confidently enough, they are able to start their own business and employ others, because like that man is of course employing very many people in all those plumbing shops that he has across the country. So self-employment. And we are working with various banks like Equity and KCB who are ready to give them startup kits, and they are able to start their own business. I have seen some girls here in town who are given startup kits to start shoe polishing. And when you see them on Sunday, you don't think they are shoe polishers. They look like me and you, Vivian, because they have their own businesses from the requisite training that they have been able to get. So that's one way of addressing unemployment. The second way, like I've already said, is they are able to move from the training all the way straight to the industries where they have been able to practice the work. In tea industries like Ekerubogeitai, we are training the young people to operate the mechatronics. Those machines in the tea industries, that is where they go to work. They train with those machines and they just transition to those in Kiambu National Polytechnic here. One time we had to insist with the principal that the young people come to do their final exams because they are already working in industry. They don't even come for graduations. They are already working in those industries. So this dual training creates that culture, the industry culture, in these young people already, and so they simply transition. Thirdly, I've already talked about Kazi Maju. Before I go to Kazi Maju, let me also talk about digital jobs that we again have available in my TVET institutions across the country. Again, once we have been able to train our young people to be able to sit down on the computers and be able to do the available jobs online, that is another earning of a living. And we have been to those G2ME labs, and the young people have been able to tell even His Excellency the President how much money they are able to earn on the digital jobs. And finally is the Kazi Maju. I have told you, Vivian, there is a lot of interest in Kenyan labor right now. We have recruiters from across the country, from Germany. Yesterday I had some from Israel, from the UAE, from UK. And what we want to do is ensure that these young people are so well trained that when these interviewers come, they are able to give them opportunities for job mobility to go and work out here. And I want to tell Kenyans that this is a space that we need to embrace because we are in the process of industrializing this country. And let me tell you, Vivian, the reason we must insist on training these young people as requisitely as we should train them is also to encourage industrialization into this country. Because I've been telling those who care to listen to me that for industrialization to take place, you need 4 M's. Some academicians will tell you 5, others will tell you 6, but for me, there are 4. You need money, you need machine, you need market, and you need man. Man is the most important, and that's why I'm leaving it for the tall finger. Man is the most important. Which man? The skilled manpower is what you need to be able to industrialize. And therefore, for us as a country, it is very important for us to continuously and hurriedly have the young people and the requisite skills across the continuum in this country. And that is what will encourage investors. One of the things that will encourage investors, among other many things, investors into this country to come and establish the industrialization in this country, and that way we will be able again to be able to create the much needed labor. So yes, this is a space that speaks loudly into unemployment in this country. Yes.
All right, now TVET's plan is to enroll at least 2 million youth, in the TVET institutions by this year, June, by June in this year. So maybe what strategies are being put in place to ensure that this comes to pass so that you have more than at least 2 million in TVET institutions?
Thank you, Vivian. This is a directive, again, I must say. It is not a request. And therefore, as a department, we are working very hard to ensure that the youth come to our institution because, again, Vivian, we want to discourage this idleness of the youth outside here. And as a government, it pains us to see these young people out there maybe ending up in practices that are not very good. And therefore, we want to tell them that in the TVET space, we have the salvation. Because whether or not you want to stay in school for a long time, come for 3 months, we are able to craft you and you are able to go out, like I've already said, to be able to earn a living. Therefore, what we are doing, we as a department, we have recruiters in the field. They are going across the world, across the country, and working with Ngao. Remember, we again want to, as government, to use what we are calling a whole government approach. So for me, I am working with Ngao. My colleague, P.S. Omolo, was able to write a letter to the county commissioners in all the counties with the instructions that they need to work with TVETs to be able to bring all the young people to the institutions. Remember, it is the chiefs and the assistant chiefs and the DCCs who know who is where. So we are working with them. My recruiters, who I have put in place in the department, are going to the counties, holding meetings with the DCCs and the chiefs and the assistant chiefs, and they are able to call meetings with all these young people so that my people are able to explain to the young people all these things that I am saying here. What TVETs are, the pros of being in a TVET institution, and that is bringing about good registration. I saw somebody who had commented on my wall today that we have achieved in the last 2 years 120% growth in TVET registration. I am not sure about that number because for me, I think I still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Vivian, what young people want to stay out there and do. Because it is, I can also assure you that why we are putting all these initiatives in place is because it is actually not very easy. You will hold a whole meeting with many of them, explain all these things to them, but not, I don't know even whether 50% of them get to register. I don't know what they want to do out there. That's another ground of research of what they want to stay out there and do. So, in short, I am working with GAO to be able to bring as many of these youth to the institutions as possible. And if I am not able to achieve the 2 million by June, maybe towards the end of the year, we still should be able to encourage and get these young people to come and get trained.
Do you have an estimate of the number you have right now in TVET institutions? You know, you're looking at 2 million by June, so do you have a rough estimate of the numbers you have right now? And maybe just how affordable are they? Maybe that's why we have idlers out here. You know, you're saying you're wondering why some don't want to come on board, you know, and, you know, would opt to just be idle. Probably, how affordable is it?
Your first question was the numbers.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was actually asking my staff the same question. Where might we be now? And I readily said we still have a long way to go. I am not sure whether how far beyond 500,000 we are beyond or around there, but I'll be able to get the requisite numbers. I won't quote those numbers here and now because I'm not sure. But a lot of work has been going on the ground. The costs, the affordability.
Yeah.
When we had the training model, the university, we were calling it the university training model, but it is actually the higher education training model because that was TVET, was TVETs and universities. For us, that was a very comfortable space because on average, Vivian, to train a young person in the TVET institution costs around about 86,000 shillings per year. And for us, when that was subjected to the funding model, it was easy. Almost everybody was in the first bud. I mean, like for us, budding was not an issue. So we had started doing very, very well until that model got into trouble. But we are hoping and praying that it will be able to something will be worked out so that young people are able to register, like I have already told you, and what we were doing, or what we still should do, is they register in the institution and straight away they go and apply because the government is ready and prepared to fund education. That I can confidently say. So they would just go and apply, and they were able to get the help loan as requested for themselves, for their upkeeps, for their housing, for their food, and they were also able to apply for the tuition. which was remitted to the institutions, and we were very comfortable. So we are praying and hoping that that space will be able to come back, because if and when it is back in our institutions, the affordability of being in the institutions for us is not a big deal. And you see, when you come in for 3 months, because the funding is per year, even when you are able to be funded per year, and about quite a number of them are coming in 1 year. So you see, we already have enough funds in our institutions to be able to even train those who are coming for 3 months, and they will even leave some tuition in the institutions to train others who are coming, even to train others who may not have the know-how to be able to access this funding. So as they come in, they are required to pay a little money for registration, for even to about 1,500 to be able to log into the KUPS portal. I agree, some Kenyans may also find that a cost they may not be able to afford. But again, we have in the whole of government approach what we are calling the youth fund. And anybody and everybody, and these officers are now available mashinani. Anybody and everybody is again at liberty to apply for the youth fund and be able to get the little financing that one may need to be able to get into our space.
So maybe just your final remarks on this dual training program.
Yes, I would want to tell Kenyans that we want to bring this new policy into complete operationalization so that we train our young people as they should be trained. And we want to be grateful really to the government of Kenya for the big support that we are enjoying at TVET as TVET's space to be able to deal with these young people. We want also to be very grateful to the industry space for the pragmatic support that we are receiving from them. And Vivian, well, for us, when we talk about industry, we are not talking about those smoking industries with a lot of smoke. Jua Kali, we have been able to work with them very well, because remember, it is Jua Kali who do a lot of work. They are a big support of this country. So we are also working very well with them to be able to train our young people. So we are also very grateful to the industry, whatever you call industry, for the support that we are getting. And I'm also very grateful to my staff, both at the headquarters and in the field, because we have been able to roll out this space very well. Very grateful to our working partners like GIZ, like CICAN. We want to call upon each and every one of us. Let us all rally together. Let us all work together to be able to make the Kenyan youth well-crafted for the future of this country.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Moria. It was a pleasure having you on the show. And this is a good training program, so I hope that it gets to be implemented the right way.
Thank you.
On that note, we take a break. Don't go too far. Good Morning Kenya gets to continue in a moment.